Hi everybody, this is Mom H with Honey Hollow Homestead and Gracie. Yes, yes, me too. Yes. Uh, she's had a rough go these couple of weeks because I have gone every single day to the hospital to be with my husband. It has been a rough, very rough 2 weeks. Let me see here. I don't know if I can get you any closer. Anyway, are you coming? Come on. Okay, okay. Because every day that I went up there, he was a little worse, and a little worse, and a little worse. We were talking about, with medical staff, about end of life care. That's what we were talking about. He had, let me see, if I can get everything figured out, he had some kind of infection in his colon. I don't know if he still has that or not. His mass on his bladder. I don't know what the story is with that. They don't have a urology department there. His oxygen level was gradually getting worse, and we had to put oxygen on him. Okay? He got pneumonia. I found out today he's got I think he said a fungal infection in his blood. I have no idea what the ramifications are on that. His lungs had been steadily getting worse and worse and worse. And then a pulmonary doctor shows up yesterday and comes up with these medications he wants him to have. And he just seems very sure of himself. Okay? And so they start him on this new medication. There was another doctor that was there. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Was it yes? He was before this pulmonary doctor. And I don't remember if he was the same day or the day before. And he was like telling me all these things. His heart is weak. His lungs are bad. All this stuff. And hello, Angel. Just in case we didn't have enough animals up here. Yes. Okay. Okay. You're dirty. Where were you rolling? Okay. Yes, I know. I know. Okay. And anyway, today I go in, and for the first time since he was admitted 2 weeks ago, excuse me, Gracie, Gracie, never mind, okay? I know, you get jealous. Hello, Angel. For the first time in 2 weeks, his temperature was normal. He had been running a low-grade fever from day one. Okay? Today, for the first time, it was normal. I don't need your claws, Angel. Come on, Gracie. They've been doing... Okay, excuse me. Yes, okay. Wonder why some people refuse to work with animals. Anyway. Now I gotta get my train of thought back. Okay, his temperature is normal. Okay. His lungs, he has been getting a chest x-ray every day. Okay. And every day his lungs were getting steadily worse and worse and worse. Um, he's always been a very weak cougher. Okay. He's, ever since I've known him, his coughs have been on the weak side. Um, so he wasn't really coughing that much stuff up. Um, Today, for the first time, the pulmonary doctor said, I see a slight improvement in his lungs. Now, Gracie, would you please leave Angel alone? You're jealous. I know. Okay, the story with his oxygen. Okay, they have two sources of oxygen for him. One is just a hose with the two prongs. Now there's the thick tube, and then there's the thin skinny tube, which you often see people walking around with those, with the home oxygen. Okay, he has the thicker tube. Okay, it goes, this thing stick up in his nose. Okay, so he's got that one. They have that one turned all the way up to 100%. It cannot go any higher. The other source of oxygen is, I believe they call it a CPAP machine. Okay, and it's a mask that goes over his nose and his mouth. Okay, that one forces the air in. Okay, when I got there, he was on the nose one. Okay, but at some point his oxygen levels started to drop down. The lowest that I saw was 76. Okay, it was like fluctuating a little bit, and the lowest one I saw was 76. And at that point, well, the nurse had only seen the 77. I told him about the 76. And at that point, he decided to put the CPAP back on. And he had it for the initial, first putting it on, he had it up to 90. Okay, but once his oxygen level started to come up, then he turned it down to 85. And then after a bit, he had turned it down to 80. And that's where it has been, is 80. So he's got the weaker oxygen stream that's at 100%, and that can't go any higher. Then he's got the CPAP machine, which he hates. He does not like it at all. And that one is typically running at 80%. Okay? Now, any of you guys that have been in the medical field, you probably understand this a lot better than I do. I understand, that if you have your oxygen saturation at or in the 90s, okay, that's pretty good. The closer to a 100, the better it is, okay. And his has been running in the mid 90s, okay. When he first got in there, I think it was like upper 90s to 100%. Okay, so it was really good when he first got in there, and it was down to like the mid 90s, and yesterday I believe it was in the low 90s. Okay, thank you, Angel. So that is the big concern at this point, is his lungs and his oxygen use. Okay, he has never been a smoker, he's never been a drinker. Okay, so, but he has had pneumonia in the past, so I don't know if there's any scarring or what. He still has not been out of bed. He's got IVs going, and he's got a feeding tube running into his nose. Okay, because he's unable to eat, to swallow without choking. Okay? So that's where he is at this point. Like I said, today, for the first time since he's been in, we have seen a slight improvement. And that's about where we are. Yesterday, I thought I was going to be making funeral plans. Okay? I thought I was going to be doing a whole lot of other different things. I was sorting through, okay, who do I have to contact? And all this other stuff, that I'm thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to have to do once he's gone. And like I said, we were talking end of life stuff. There was one nurse in particular that I felt like she was pushing the comfort care. Okay, she wasn't. I mean, if anybody, I mean, she was just being honest and give me her opinion, which I wanted. But at one point, it felt almost like she was pushing the comfort care to just let him go. And trying to make the decision on whether or not to bring my son down or anything, it was a very, very, very difficult thing. I did put on him no intubation and no CPR, because those are two things I didn't think he could handle. Okay? So, especially the CPR. The CPR thing was especially, I didn't think he could handle that. So, that's where I was. I'm somewhat questioning my intubation decision. I'm still not so sure he can handle it. But I need to learn more about it. Okay? This is where I'm at. He still has a weak heart. He still has to be on blood pressure medicine in order to keep his blood pressure up. Although at one point this morning, his blood pressure was a little on the high side. But there was some stuff going on, so he could have been a little bit stressed. And that will raise your BP. So anyway, that is the update on my husband. It has been stressful. I am very tired. Very tired. I still have a lot of things to do here, but if he continues to improve, then he will go to the, what do they call it? LTAC, which is a long-term care, and he will be there probably, I expect, for the full 30 days that Medicare will pay for. And that I'm basing that based on what I see his condition is like, and how I know my husband. Okay? If he gets out of there in less than 30 days, I would be shocked. So that is where we're at. There's a glimmer of hope today. Just a glimmer. Like I said, he had just a slight improvement. But it's the first time in 2 weeks that there's been improvement and not decline. So continue praying for him. I deeply appreciate it. And we'll see where we go from here. It's in God's hands. So this is Mom H with Honey Hollow Homestead. Talk to y'all later.